used to think that people would have to be mildly mentally ill or pretty severely mentally ill to be drawn into a cult. I totally disagree with that now.
Hey guys, it's me again, Val. Welcome back, Truth Be Told. So today I want to talk about cults. I wonder what's brought that on. Yeah, okay, so if you go over to Alan Vinnicome's channel, we can kind of start to see that it's getting kind of cultish over there, and I want to put a video out there to show those people, educate us and help us understand the manipulation techniques of narcissists, cults, you name it. Alan is getting quite, I can't even think of the right word. Manipulative isn't strong enough. But what I want to do today is just go into a few details of why you've got to be careful. In the olden days, you know, cults used to live in big communities, big communal farms out in the desert. You know, you've got your Waco, Texas, David Koresh. You've got your Charlie Mansons, your Jim Jones in Jonestown. They don't have to do that anymore. They don't have to get their followers to be within the vicinity. They don't need to live with followers anymore. Since, you know, the internet's popped along, it's created so many problems. It's done good things, but it's also done bad things. So now you can get cults that actually open up channels and that will create a channel designed, whether it be coaching, it could be lifestyle, and it could be the crime community. You know, you get drawn into these people, you get drawn into their channels, and you don't actually know what's going on, because although you don't have to be in the vicinity, you don't need to stand next to these people to be abused. It's your head, it's going on in here. The subliminal manipulation that is going on in your head that is dangerous. It's the manipulation so that you feed them with what they want, which is adoration, money, fame, celebrity. You may get something back, you know, but in the meantime, whilst you're playing this symbiotic relationship and this symbiotic game with these channels, these manipulators are creating your brain to look at things and see things in a different light. And I want to go into it in this video. Now, some people might say, oh, for God's sake, come on, he's not a cult. He's not having sex with cult members. He's not marrying them all. They're not standing out in the desert wailing at the moon. No, that's what they used to do because that's all they had back then. Now they have the internet. You don't have to be doing half the things that were in the past. It's all about words. It's about manipulation. It's about control. Times change. And this is how a lot of people nowadays create cults in YouTube. They manipulate because people don't see them as cults, because the old-fashioned word for a cult would be somebody, you know, a big group of people out in the desert, you know, dancing around a fire. No. The word narcissism now is portrayed differently to what it was 30, 40 years ago. Back then it was just somebody looking in a mirror. Now it's an abuse. It's coercive abuse. So times change, and abuse and manipulation change with the times. And the modern day cult now resides on YouTube.
But nobody sets out to join a cult. People join a new religion, work for a cause, or start a political movement. From the inside, the group is noble, inspirational, but then a line is crossed and a group becomes a cult.
See, back then, what they used to do is they would actually stop all communication from family members, from friends, getting through to the followers of the leader. The only voice that these followers would hear is the voice of the leader. Within Jim Jones' reign, if you want to call it, the only thing that he would allow people to hear was his voice over a tannoy, day in and day out, repeating words over and over again. He then took them to Guyana to isolate them, to take them further away. And this is what obviously manipulators do. Some manipulators might take them across the other side of the world to take them away from their families. And some manipulators may just say, listen, YouTube's bad. YouTube's bad. YouTube's bad. Come on to Patreon. Come on to Patreon. YouTube's got trolls. Don't like YouTube. YouTube's bad. Can you see this is where this is going?
Get off YouTube. Join Patreon. There's a green button under here.
YouTube is not a safe place.
Take them off. Take them off YouTube where they've got access to other people helping, telling them what's true and what's not true. They had access to people on YouTube telling them, don't. He's a scam. He's manipulating and he's taking your money. He's faking. He's a conspiracy theorist, which he is. He's a liar, which I know he is. So what he does, he takes them to Patreon to take them away from an area where they can get support. He takes them to Patreon. It may not be the other side of the world, but you can see a point on a smaller scale. He's isolating them. It's manipulation. It's a ploy. See, then he does that. Tells them to come to Patreon because it's safe. No one can harm them. No trolls can get into Patreon. You're safe with me. But in the meantime, for these people to feel safe, they've got to pay $5 or $10. So with Alan, it's not about safety. It's about money. It's not about looking after his subs. Because on the switch of this, he's putting down his subscribers that don't pay him. He actually starts to talk bad about his subscribers that can't afford to go into Patreon. So that's also then putting in their heads that they're not doing the right thing and they should be following him because they're bad. The manipulation there from Alan is, you're bad if you can't afford to come into Patreon. You've got the cheap seats. You don't want to pay me money. So what happens is in here, they want to be good. And manipulation plays on people's want of wanting to be a good person. So by wanting to be a good person and support the person that they have been watching, and they're being told that they're a bad person for not paying him money to go into Patreon, they then go into Patreon. In these hard times, they're paying somebody $10, $5 for what? To play poker, to drink, to buy televisions. He hasn't got their best interest in his heart. We know this with the lies that we see.
By Christmas, do you want to be gone?
Yeah, well, if
By
I was
Christmas, do you want to be gone? By Christmas, do you want to be
I
gone?
would ask you, could I go home to make a trip to see my people?
It's blasphemy. It's blasphemy to talk about going back when you have not been given any approval. Do you want to go home?
Oh.
Well, then be seated and shut your mouth and don't be in my face anymore.
Now that bit I find quite sad. Now I'm not saying that that's the kind of thing, you know, that Alan's doing, because obviously what Alan's doing is on a smaller scale than that, you know, but you can see how manipulative that they are. You can see how if they stand up to the leader or they'll say something, and you can see it when you watch Alan's lives. You can see how people are being deleted left, right and centre if they actually have an opposing opinion. So although you're not outcast, although you're not blasted over a tannoy, you know, you will be blocked, you will be deleted, because the word of the leader, the manipulator, the channel owner, the creator, you name it, that's the only one that you should be hearing. If someone says something in his channel, and he should reply, whether it's against him or not, but no, he just blocks. He just deletes, and that's just cleansing his world. That's basically, his mods will protect him, his admins, his spanners will delete anything horrible quickly, before Alan sees it. Because maybe at the end of the day, if they're not deleting them quick enough, Alan might say something once the live's over. Your spanners are crap. Your spanners aren't deleting them fast enough. People are reading them. They don't want people to see that there's people that dislikes them. They want to create this world of adoration, that they're the best thing on this planet, and it hurts them if they see anything negative. So them spanners, get in there quick. I know a lot of these cults from the past, they ended badly with fire, you know, with murder. I'm not saying that Alan's going to do that, obviously, but he has to take responsibility for who's watching his channel. There's a lot of vulnerable people out there. There's a lot of people watching him that just need somewhere to belong. It's this same symbiotic relationship thing. It's that they get something from watching somebody. And if they don't see the manipulation, if they're those kind of people that, you know, believe everybody's good, which I was once. But until I actually had a relationship with a narcissist and learned what I do know now, I see things differently. There's a lot of vulnerable people on YouTube, a lot of sick people on YouTube, a lot of trolls on YouTube, a lot of every single type of person on this planet. They watch YouTube, and if you happen to attract somebody who's sick, who's mentally disordered, you can cause something really bad. I know a channel that I spoke about in my last channel, who was a predator pretending to be a life coach. You know, I know someone who tried to commit suicide because of the advice that this man gave, because he was a predator and his advice was coming from a dark place, not a good, light, healthy place. So this is the trouble. Although you think, oh, it's online, you don't see who you're affecting. You don't see who you're hurting. You're hurting the Rzuceks, you're hurting Nicole Atkinson, you're hurting, you know, everybody that's attached. You're trying to accuse people of doing things. You're hurting Betty Nate. You know, you're hurting so many people out there just for your gain, just to get your money for your poker and your beer and your whatever it is, drink of choice. You're taking advantage of the good people of this world. And karma will, and is on its way.
I believe that I was desperately seeking someone that I could love and hold on to and call my own. That somehow my dad leaving had left a space there.
So what we find is narcissists and liars and trolls and people that set up YouTube channels to scam people. They will future fake and they will lie to keep them on board. They will tell them that things are going to happen, that I'll do this for you. Maybe if you do this for me, if you give me $5 in my Patreon, then you'll get this from this channel. What's it called? Reciprocity. Reciprocity, that's the word. See, I've been practicing that for a good half an hour and I still couldn't get it right. It's where you reciprocate. It's where one does a favour for the other, then they've got to feel they do a favour back. Have you ever been in that situation where maybe, you know, somebody's taking you out for a meal and they'll start saying, oh, because I've been nice to you, am I going to get a favour back? No, I just think that's horrendous. You don't do things to gain, and that's what narcissists, trolls and people like Alan do. They will say things like, you know, if you pay me $5 to get into Patreon, I will basically give you so much information. I've got so much information. I can't tell you all now. I need to do it in the safety of, you know, Patreon, but I've got some information for you. So that drives your curiosity, where you just think, right, well, I'll pay $10, I'll pay $5. And this is his manipulation techniques. This is how he gets what he wants, future faking. Future faking by saying that he's going to have all these people on his channel, or he's going to do all this thing. But what he doesn't have anything to give you, so he makes it up with all this ridiculous, you know, faces in the car and lights flashing and bushes moving and, you know. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. Speechless.
I would die for you. And then the questions would begin. Would you die for me?
So guys, please share this video, and basically if you've got anything to add underneath that you want to. You know, the reason that I'm doing this isn't to be a bitch. The reason I'm doing this isn't because I want a platform to just rage about somebody and just be a nasty person, which is what a lot of people do think that that's what we're doing. You know, I've had a few comments recently saying, are you just jealous? What is it for you about money? Well, firstly, I'm not monetized, but that's not the point. You know, there is some people on this planet and this world that do want to stand up for other people. We want to stand up for people who don't have the voice, that don't speak up, that can't speak up. There's people out there that have been hurt really badly by people on YouTube, not only Alan, but I know a lot of people have been hurt by other channels that I've, you know, been smeared by, because what happens is they don't like the truth. As soon as you start telling the truth, the smear campaign will start. Because they have to smear your name to make you out to be crazy, to make you out to be the bad person. This is how narcissists and manipulators do. They're not going to sit back and go, oh, you got me, busted. Oh, I've been lying all this time, I'm so sorry. No, their life depends on their lies. And I also don't think that people out there, the manipulators of this world, and I'm not just going to say narcissists, but the manipulators of this world don't actually realise, because they aren't that person, they don't realise that people like us exist. They think that they can lie to the world, and they've got away with it since they were young. They've been manipulating the world since the age of 3, 4, 5. In fact, they're manipulating the world as soon as they came out the womb. So they've practiced it, they know how to deal with it, and they know how to lie. And they may have got through their lives by lying to their family, by their friends, and got away with it. But this time, they're putting their lies out to a platform that's got a lot of people watching. A lot of people watching this man. And there's a lot of people watching this man who have big mouths, who have channels, and who want to support people like the Rzuceks and people who are hurt. You know, I got called all sorts of names by doing my last channel that I had a smear campaign by a coach, a life coach. Again, it's in my playlist if you want to have a look. He smeared my name terribly for 3 years, and he's still doing it now, because he has to stand up for himself. He has to make me out to be that I've got some vendetta against him, and that's what they will say, and they'll accuse us of having a vendetta, being, I don't know, envious, being jealous, not liking them, and just, you know, there's all sorts of ways that they will get round the reasons that we're doing what we're doing. But we all need to know that we're doing it for a good reason, and don't ever, anybody who wants to support us or say anything about, you know, Alan, that, you know, you're wrong for doing it. Because you've got to remember the person that's wrong is the person that's wrong, that's doing the wrong. And the more and more evidence that gets out there about people on YouTube that are absolutely, you know, manipulative predators that just prey on people that can't support themselves or don't know how to. Somebody needs to help those people. So you can continue trolling us, you can continue thumbing us down, but we're not going to stop. You know, people like Alan need to be taken off YouTube. Maybe that'll actually show and be you know, a frighten of other people that want to do it, that think that we can. And if you all fight hard enough for the truth will win in the end, because nobody in their life, nobody can go through their whole life. I admit one person, Jimmy Savile, went through his whole life lying, and he died, and he took his lies to his grave. And that's one person that I don't ever want to see happen again. No way. So again, please support the channels like mine and like the people that I've got in the list in the descriptions, because we are trying to do the good, although some people will think it's bad, but that's fine. We need to know who we are. We need to know that we're strong people and that we have the truth on our sides. And that's all I want to say, guys. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for everybody who's subscribed to my channel. I actually didn't think that I was going to really start this channel up. I just thought I was going to put a few videos on it and be done with it. But, you know, I get passionate about what I talk about and what I speak about and how I want to get out there the truth. So, okay, guys, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Stay safe and we'll speak soon.